We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Tuesday, and we got kind of a fun show today. It's not a live show, but we do have guests, and that's right, plural guests. I have Will, who you know very well, and Matt, who you know very well. And this is an interesting contrast. Uh, Matt is a millennial who lives in Ohio, a red state,
How's
and
it going,
uh,
everybody?
and Will is an old fuck like me who lives in Georgia. So we've got an interesting perspective here on both ends of the spectrum, and it should be interesting. Now, this is airing Tuesday. So, Will, a lot of shit happening today. A lot of crazy shit happening today. It's going to be a busy one.
Yeah, it's just wow. I mean, it's been. I mean, you don't even know where to start anymore. We talked about before we came on about the economy because the one thing that I remember when Bill Clinton was first elected, James Carville's famous line is "The economy's stupid."
Yeah.
Well, and everyone voted for Trump, saying that they wanted prices and blah blah blah. Well, let's kind of get to the economy. One, like so we said last week, the Atlanta Federal Bank, which is part of the Federal Reserve, so they handle the money in the United States. They predict, and they do economic predictions. This is what they do, and so Trump should freak out on this one. They're predicting a first quarter. They predicted a first quarter GDP, and for those who don't know what GDP is, that's your gross domestic product, sum total of services and products put up by America, of a negative 1.5% in the first quarter. Now, anything that's a negative may point toward a recession, okay, because that means we're not putting stuff out. But now they revised their prediction to 2.8% negative, which means
Yeah.
it's worse. That means the indicators are getting worse. And so you would think Trump would have second thoughts about the tariffs. No, he's going ahead with them. And he'll probably make that announcement tomorrow during the State of the Union address. Now, 25% Canada, 25% in Mexico, 10% China. And the response of Wall Street was an 800 drop on the Dow, 800
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is economic suicide we're committing right now.
it really is. And let's go to Matt up in Ohio. Matt, thanks for joining us. And you come from a
Sure.
different perspective, but we're all of a like mind. As Will pointed out, tomorrow Donald Trump is supposed to impose the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Plus, he's doing the State of the Union. How are you feeling as somebody younger? I mean, I'm retired. Will's not retired yet, but not in the too distant future. For you're young. You got a family. You're trying to get by best you can. How are you feeling at this moment?
This moment is, extremely stressful to say the least. But I've kind of trained myself or learned along the way to just control what you can and stay on this side of the grass, and you're doing fine. So, yeah, just the
Is there anything that's going on right now that's impacting you directly? Are you feeling the pinch in anything right now, not or yet?
Uh, one of the economists I heard the other day said take a good picture of where your auto insurance and your homeowner's insurance is right now, because within 6 months to a year, it's probably going to double.
Really?
So if that goes down, definitely. But yeah, I mean, gas is still above $3. Grocery store is not cheap. Uh, I've watched eggs in the last 2 months go from 3.19 a dozen to about 5.59.
Yeah.
So those things, yeah, you see all the time, or you see nowadays. But
So,
that's probably
well,
the
let's go.
pinch right there.
Let me go to Will because you brought up something interesting that your insurance is going to go up. Will happens
Mhm.
to work in the insurance business. What do you know about that? And is he on the right track
Well,
with that?
it can be in some states. Florida's having issues with that's Florida because their governor isn't doing squat with it. Um, right now, rates have been set for the last year, So we'll come on the 6 month mark in June or July, and I think he's right there. We'll see. It counts on what right now for us, we're settled. I don't see a big drop. But if people can afford it and people run around without insurance and they get into accidents, that will cause a problem on rates. Rates
Spike.
will go
Yeah.
up. So right now, they've come out. The problem with that is a lot of insurance companies have come out of COVID, kind of fixed it. But now with everything changing, we're going to have to deal with a lot of canceled policies. That's my concern right now. We'll see. Unfortunately, it is a mandatory thing to have. So to an
Right.
extent, there'll still be a business, but you're going to have to pay for it. So it's a possibility. Homeowners insurance already has been effective. I'm here in Georgia. Mine went up, and I tried to get new insurance. They wouldn't even talk to me. And I'm in Georgia because of the hurricanes and the storms. They're not. So I'm stuck with what I've got and just have to roll with it. And even with my policy, it went up. So it counts on what we look at in economic, what the economics are going to be in the next 6 months. If we get another storm through, that could be problems.
You got these fires down in South Carolina and even coming
That
into
is
Georgia a
not
little bit.
good.
Oh,
Yeah,
crazy.
Georgia. South Carolina. Oh, by the way, did anyone remind Trump that there is wildfires in South Carolina? I know he was playing golf. I know that's real important.
He was busy.
No,
Somebody
another,
showed it to him on a piece of paper, and then they realized he can't read. So they tried.
yeah. But I mean, not one word from the government at all. The governor of South Carolina has declared an emergency, which means federal government should start moving, but not a word. Now, I mean,
Nothing
when
at
they had
all.
California, Trump couldn't wait to stick his fucking nose in it because he hates Gavin Newsom. But now he's not saying anything in South Carolina. But I don't even think he's saying anything to help them. Where's FEMA? If there's a FEMA left, if there are any FEMA workers left, that you fired
Already
everyone.
canceled it. It's
Also,
already canceled. Last I heard.
and also, and also, he fired a bunch of park rangers, firefighters that usually handle this. I mean, the birds are coming to roost,
Yeah.
and people are going, "Oh, I hope I get a stimulus check from this Doge stuff." Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what you're going to get. You're going to get nothing, and you're going to like it.
I'm gonna wake up
Yeah,
tomorrow and there's a viper in the driveway too.
yeah, no shit. I
Oh
mean, there's
yeah,
a lot of promises made. There's a lot of promises made by Donald Trump, none of which ever come true. You know, we've talked about it a lot on this show and on TikTok, but that press conference with Donald Trump and JD Vance and President Zelensky, Donald Trump is still sticking to his guns. He wants um, a public apology from Zelensky. Now, tell me what you guys think, because what I see happened there was this: Donald Trump made a deal where he gets mineral rights, but wasn't offering anything in return. When Zelensky said, "Well, what about future security?" and he goes, "Security, we can't do anything until we get this deal done." So basically, what he's saying, give me the shit, and then we'll take care of you afterwards. Well, if you've ever watched Donald Trump in life, you know you're going to get the rug pulled out from you because Donald Trump cannot be trusted. And Donald Trump, I don't know if you heard this, what Zelensky said, though. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin want Zelensky out of there. They want his people to push him out. They want him to resign or do anything. And the reason that is because he's a strong leader and he pushes back. They want somebody weak in there that will bend to Russia, bend to Donald Trump, and he won't do that. But Zelensky, I don't know if you heard about this today, but Zelensky said, listen, man, I'll resign if you put Ukraine in NATO. I have a feeling
yeah,
Vlad and Donnie ain't going to like that.
yeah,
Like that.
guys, that was beautiful. And he's got 1.6 billion commitment from Europe. I know there. Here's another thing: him pulling the um, military aid from Ukraine. You do know that you dummies, and again, these dummies think it's cash. It's not cash, dummies. It's military equipment that we sent and then is replaced by American manufacturers. So guess what, Donnie? You just fucked a bunch of other people and their jobs because they won't be replacing the equipment. Hi.
Yeah, Matt, I
No,
wanted to ask you about this.
Zelensky came through Pennsylvania, and he went to one of the armory places that were actually making the rounds or part of the weapons for the stuff that was
really?
actually replacing the, what we were given to Ukraine. So he showed up, and that was a while back. But yeah, the utter shit show that happened with that meeting, and just I lost it. I was on break. I saw the video. I broke down a little bit. I gathered myself, went back to work, and then the very next video I saw when I got back to my phone was I don't know how quick it happened, or maybe it was later that night, but it was what was the big conference where all the other groups of people got together, and
European?
the
Mhm.
I think it was the president of Finland started talking.
Right.
And man, you listen to that speech, that'll make you feel a hell of a lot better. And they've gone through the exact same shit in their time dealing with Russia. So
It makes you wish you lived in Finland, not the United States, is what it does. Now, my brother sent me a note, and he's a pretty sharp guy. He and I are of a like mind. He said when Donald Trump said he was going to pull the aid from Ukraine, what's he trying to prove there? Well, I'll tell you exactly what Donald Trump is doing. He's doing what a narcissistic bully does. He pushes them back, and if that doesn't work, he ramps it up. Now, Donald Trump finds himself in a spot. I just I just want to have Russia and Ukraine come together so we don't have any fighting anymore. Like he gives a shit. And Zelensky basically said, fuck you. If you're not giving me anything, I don't want anything to do with you. Now, Donald Trump looks stupid that he can't bring him to the table. And they're going, oh, he was disrespectful, or he won't sit at the table, or he's not ready for a peace. So Donald Trump is ramping it up. He's trying yet again to scare these people, Zelensky particularly, into coming to the table. He can't negotiate. He's got to threaten and ramp it up and threaten some more and threaten some more. And that's exactly what he did when he took took the funding or put it on a pause.
Well, I mean, I don't. We're at the point where it's not going to work because I think that Ukraine is going to be okay. Aaron Parnes' report saying it's going to really hurt them. Maybe I think Europe is stepping up. The Russians are a big surprise. My biggest concern, what this did is show us. For those who don't know who Vladimir Putin is, or was, or is, he was a KGB agent. But when he was a KGB agent, his job was unstable countries. His job was to figure out how to bore into countries that are unstable now through elections, through propaganda. That was his bivouac. So if you look at it now, he's been playing the long game in the United States. He's been playing that to the point that literally the Republican Party now supports Russia. I'm to say this again for all us old folk. We know this would never happen, but the Republican Party supports Russia. And literally overnight, since the Zelensky thing, would show the world we're just Russian pawns now in the White House, Pete Hegseth pulled the plug on cyber defense and cyber offense against Russia.
Right.
And then Pat Bondi is not investigating oligarchs anymore, like under what Biden did in seizing their assets. That stopped. Russian TV and Russian reporters are in the White House. Everyone's just looking around going, when did America become an arm of Russia? It's embarrassing. And the Republicans and all the Republicans flipped. All of them, even Lindsey Graham, who are big Ukraine supporters, just rolled over. Just rolled over like little turtles.
yeah,
And I'm
now that
like,
some time has gone by, how big of a pussy does Rubio look like, just sitting there,
Yeah.
knowing what he said all along about Russia and Ukraine, and just
He,
withering there in that chair like a piece of shit he is.
well, he's always been a piece of shit. He's always been cowardly.
The
He,
They're all
Republicans have
folding.
proven
No,
it.
that's the point. They're all folding. If you go back into Trump's history, he's been bought and paid for through Russian money
mhm.
for years. And, now it's finally, he got in there again. He can do what he built upon last time with Putin, and here we go.
I mean,
You
here's
put a
the
bunch
thing.
of people in charge that don't know shit.
We've always said that Donald Trump is a Russian asset, right? And people would say, no, he's not. No, he's not. But let's look at what Will has said here
Oh,
in the Oval Office press conference. AP and Reuters were kept out, but TASS, which is basically a propaganda arm of Russia, TASS was in the White House, in the Oval Office during that press conference. Donald Trump sided in Helsinki with Russia and Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump is siding with Vladimir Putin and Russia in this Ukraine thing. It's pretty apparent. It's pretty clear. They shut down the cyber attacks and cyber offensives, and they aren't going after oligarchs anymore. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They are solidly with Russia, which is appalling. They always talk about Reagan and how they love him. Reagan would be kicking people in the nuts right now because he hated Russia. He was part of the reason why they brought down the wall. But it's pretty clear that they are siding with Russia. And it's also pretty clear that all the Republicans that wouldn't normally do this, they've chosen their jobs over the future of this country and the future of democracy. And that is absolutely disgusting at this point.
And so my question would be to everybody at this point. We know that the budget reconciliation or whatever is coming in was on March 14th, Mike, if I'm right, or March 14th. And the budget is still out there in this budget, whatever. They still have to bring a bill to be approved. And Mike Johnson is complaining that Democrats aren't cooperating because they want the money taken out from Doge replaced. They want the workers back, and they don't want to sign off on this draconian piece of shit that they proposed. But the problem I have with Democrats right now is that they're still looking for a bipartisan bill. They still want to work with them. They still want to, kumbaya.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what they think of you. Rick Scott has told the Department of Justice to go after AOC because all she did was give recommendations for people. If I showed you door to door, this is your rights. They want her arrested for obstruction. Okay. Mike Johnson, all those folks don't give a shit about those people that are out on the streets in the federal government. Understand, one person in Michigan said, quote, people just who don't want the employees fired just want to blow the government because all those people fired were six-figure bureaucratic executives. I don't know. I saw a picture of a guy who's got fired who picked up trash in Yosemite. Is that a six-figure bureaucrat? I mean, and Democrats are stuck in the Washington bubble. And Hakeem Jeffries and all of them are still trying to figure something out politically. We can't do it this way. We can't. There was in you guys have your team has a message, and they put a Canadian creator in there. And the Canadian creator just said straight up, look, and I mean, no offense, but no one's coming to save you guys. This is your problem. I mean, we'd love to, but this is your problem. You elected him. And I sat there and watched them and go, yeah, you're right. This is our problem. I didn't vote for Trump. Matt didn't vote for Trump. You didn't vote for Trump. A lot of people didn't vote for Trump. But it's now our problem. And if we're looking for someone else to save us, we're out of our goddamn minds. Then we have to use a military term. We have to unfuck this somehow. And I don't know how. And it ain't going to be with Washington. And it ain't going to be with anyone else. We have to figure out. And I went off today on a guy who set out a video saying, where's Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Blah, blah, blah. You know, they talk shit. They didn't do, where are they now? I said, dude, they were rejected on November 5th. What do you want from them? And if you're going to sit there and whine and cry because they're not there, get the fuck out of the way because we have to figure something out. And I don't want you here. Get out of here. This is where we're at. We have to figure out a way to unfuck this, and I know how.
Matt, you live in a red state in Ohio, and you live around a bunch of red hat fucks. Have you noticed any different vibe, any different attitudes around some of the people you run into from time to time?
The only time I socialize, honestly, is going to the store, and I try and just stick to myself. But you still see the "Let's Go Brandon" t-shirts and shit on. But
are they behaving any differently? Is anybody whining?
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear the bitching going on still, and it's just like, well, what the hell did you expect? But around here, there's a big ass farm up the road that he put up like 3 flags before November. They're still there, but now they're tattered and ripped in half. So it's like now they're kind of decorative, now they're really decorative. Just keep them up now. Don't take them down. Yeah. But yeah, all this shit's gonna hit the fan sooner or later and really start waking some people up, I hope. I mean, you can see it in these town hall meetings for sure until the higher ups told them to quit going. But Bernie's going on this big tour. Hopefully he comes somewhere close. That would be pretty cool.
There's a lot of protests going on right now, and whether they have the town hall meetings or not, they try to blame it on Democratic disruptors. It's silly. It's almost embarrassing for them to say that sort of thing. We had a guy in Minnesota, Tom Emmer, who is a huge piece of shit. He had a town hall meeting. Motherfucker didn't even show up. Everybody just sat there waiting for Tom Emmer, and that cowardly piece of shit didn't even show up. But you talk about, both of you guys are talking about how things are going to go down pretty quickly. As people listen to this podcast, it's Tuesday. What's going to happen today is the tariffs are supposed to go into effect. That's going to have an immediate effect on the economy. It did already yesterday with just talking about it, because it's all about speculation in the stock market. It's going to make prices go up. And then Donald Trump has his State of the Union. And this is why I think we might be at a turning point as far as Donald Trump's popularity. We had the Ukrainian thing. And as much as the Republicans come out and say, we were proud of them, the vast majority of the people were embarrassed. The tariffs will go into effect. He won't back out of it because he's got to double and triple down. And when he goes to this State of the Union, it's going to be interesting to see how the Democrats react. Some are suggesting they won't come. Some are bringing people who have been affected by the Doge cuts. And since they gave Zelensky a hard time about what he was wearing, his suit, in spite of the fact that every time you see Elon Musk, he's wearing the equivalent of fucking Garanimals from the 60s. But if the Democrats are doing this right, they will make it tough on Donald Trump, because the moment he gets angry, motherfucker's going to go off the rails, and this will be just as embarrassing or more embarrassing than what happened with Zelensky.
I think this is where we're going to see Democrats make some noise. There's going to be 3 to 5 of them that are going to stick out more in this crowd. And I hope they get loud and start booing when they really need to, because the country's got to see something.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I mean, if this State of the Union is like in the other ones, fucking wear what you want. Marjorie had on her stupid ass hat, for Joe's last one. So fuck it. I don't see no decorum anymore.
And the one before, she had that dead animal around her neck. I remember that.
Yeah, it's just
yeah, Mike, you were going to ask me.
What do you think is going to happen with this with this State of the Union. I know it's going to be easy to trigger Donald Trump, and I think the Democrats should make every effort to trigger him because then he'll just fuck up.
I don't know what they're going to do. If they have any sense, they'll just go act like the Republicans do, and when he says something, just scream you're a liar, like they did to Biden.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I don't know. I don't know.
Pull the same shit. Start booing when they're done clapping. Start booing.
I totally
Stall
agree
him,
with you,
piss him off.
Matt. I totally agree with you, Matt. I just don't know they have it in them. I really don't.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think
if
They
you
some
look
people
fucking
have said,
better. Yeah, then they are gutless. Then it's done. Then it's just sit back and fucking let it burn. Fuck it.
some people have
Get loud
said
when you want, but
some people have said that when they sit down and Donald Trump steps up to talk, all the Democrats should stand up and walk the fuck out. Now I don't know if that's will do any good or not, but what I think they should do, honestly, I think they should all go in there in hoodies and sweatpants, blue and yellow, and sit in the fucking front row and yell Slava Ukraine. That will drive him fucking nuts.
right.
yeah.
Or just call it. You know what? You've seen guys? You've seen Prime Minister Question Day in Parliament. Have you seen videos of that?
Yeah.
Where the Prime Minister comes up to ask questions, and it is no holds fucking bar. He will answer a question. They will yell back at him. They will call him names, and he has to stand up to it. I think that the Democrats should just go whole hog on that and watch him collapse. Because if you're a Prime Minister of England and you cannot take that, you won't last long. But I want to see them do it. I want to see him the minute he brings up stupid shit and numerous stuff. I mean, anything, just go after him and say you're lying. That's not true. And everyone later on in Fox will go, they don't respect the president. Yeah, well, you didn't respect Biden, so go fuck yourself. I mean,
Exactly.
unless go ahead. Sorry.
I just think what happened in that Zelensky meeting was exactly what should have been done from 2015 on by the media and other politicians. Usually what happens, Donald Trump says some shit that's crazy and they go, that's not true. And then he'll go off on a tangent and they sit back and let him talk. Zelensky didn't do that. He stayed up close to him and said, that's not true. That's not true. He pushed back. And that's what threw Donald Trump off.
At all.
The audacity, and then they say he's disrespectful. Anybody who watched that motherfucking thing, it wasn't Zelensky that was disrespectful. Donald Trump was an incorrigible little child, a bratty little toddler trying to bully his way through. These Republicans can come out and say, well, he was disrespectful. How dare he ask this question? Well, you want half his fucking mineral rights. He should ask, what am I getting in return? And when they say nothing, you don't sign that fucking deal.
No, and again, my point of being, if you're going to have that type of screaming meeting, which those things happen, especially with Trump, do it behind closed doors. As someone said, this was an ambush, so Trump can force him to agree on camera. The problem they don't get is that unlike the politicians around them, Zelensky cares about his people. And he's working to survive for his people to survive. And so he was not going to take that shit because the public persona to him doesn't mean shit. They don't care. He doesn't. All he cares about the people of Ukraine and to protect them and try to end this war where they come out as a country. Because understand this, all Trump is doing for Russia is to end Ukraine.
Yeah, right.
That's the goal. And so
that's what Lawrence O'Donnell said too, was that normal, those meetings usually take place in closed doors. You will not see those meetings right in the open like that. And for Vance to talk his shit and say it's, you coming in front of our media.
They set it up.
Shit, it was your boss that invited the media in there. So
you have no
garbage.
idea how many comments I've gotten when I talked about Ukraine in my videos. Was Zelensky asked for the media to be there? It's Zelensky who wanted the media. No, that is a photo op. When they sit down in that room, is usually the president and the head of state. They have nicey. They talk and then they go to another room. That place was fucking packed with animals, and
Right.
that's not the way they do it in the Oval Office. That is just a photo op. Negotiations are done behind closed doors. This was a setup to get him to agree, and it blew up in their face. Now, the consequences. The consequences is the rest of the world is just basically say, we're not doing business in the United States. An American submarine was turned away from Norway because they could not get fueled. They refused. It's coming back, and they don't care. That's the thing. They don't care. They think they won.
I heard something too.
And
See if you guys heard about this. There's several. There's like 29 countries that stand with Ukraine and Zelensky. And this is what I always ask people, Trumpers, when they say, "Well, he was disrespectful." Everybody knows that. Well, the only people that stand with Donald Trump are the Trumplafucks. 75% of the people in this country stand with Ukraine, stand with Zelensky, countries all over the world. So are you telling me that Donald Trump is the only one that's right and the rest of the world is wrong? Come on. How fucking stupid do we look?
well, I mean, that's what they want. See, I
That's what they
don't
want us
get
to
the
believe.
isolation. They don't. I don't get the isolation. I mean, Musk was on Joe Rogan the other day talking about we should leave NATO and the UN. Also, he was talking about we should end Social Security because it's a Ponzi scheme. God, that little man. The thing about it is, let's all be honest. He bought America.
Yeah.
He bought America from Trump with some the equivalent of beats. And if you don't know what that means, go look up your history. Okay.
I think Joe Rogan's going to
And
take a hit too when Donald Trump takes the hit. Midas Touch is already beating them.
I
So
was gonna
that's
say
good
he's
to
losing
see.
in podcast numbers.
Yeah.
that's
And
what he
I
gets.
think what Musk is able to do right now, sorry, Will, but I think what
No, go ahead.
Musk is able to do right now is he's got enough money to play short term. And you can already see that Tesla's falling apart,
Yep.
crashing basically. This Doge thing is only going to last out so much longer. It's either everybody outside of the government is seeing what's going on and doesn't like it. It's getting refuted everywhere. Idiots are trying to make videos defending this shit, and it's getting shot down left and right. So I think the Musk train is about to come to a halt. I hope.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know. Being on
wanted
the
to.
hopeful
I mean,
side,
courts.
6 months, but I don't know if the damage will be too far at that point.
Yeah. I mean, part of it
Well,
too is like courts already have ruled against it. A couple of them today, but they may not even. They just may say, "Fuck the courts, fuck them," and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Because who's going to enforce it? The DOJ?
right.
And the
Right.
I
So
mean,
last I
what are
heard,
you
the
at?
Supreme Court had 2 cases in front of them to get looking at, and I don't know if they gave answers on those yet.
Well, I think they gave an answer on one of them. They didn't answer it, but the other one about the funding stuff, I don't think they gave an answer on it. But Supreme Court's got to be looking hard about this, because if they vote with Donald Trump on this, they're basically shutting down all their power. They're putting Donald Trump in a position to ignore all court cases, and that would include the Supreme Court if they don't answer the way he wants to. And I can't believe the Supreme Court would be willing to give away their power like that. It makes no sense.
And the hardest thing is that we can't get any true coverage on it. I read before we came on, guys, that you know what happened to Washington Post with Jeff Bezos basically saying you only can do positive stories with
Right.
Trump and on the opinion page, and the editor quit and they're bleeding subscribers. The LA Times is owned by a very rich Korean guy who
Right.
is a Trump humper, who is installed an AI program to say that whether or not an editorial or any article written is biased right or biased left. And the editors of the LA Times are going, "What are you doing?" When he's saying that he's trying to fix the news because conservative points of view aren't being shown. This is what happens when the media is in the hands of rich people with agendas.
Right.
These guys have agendas and they're bleeding money. They're not, the LA Times is about to bleed out. They don't like it whether they like it or not. No one's going to like, because no one investigates anything anymore. They just talk.
It's all
And
the
it's
National
ridiculous.
Enquirer. It's all like the National Enquirer. And here's the thing: if you got the LA Times and the Washington Post doing what they're doing, siding with Donald Trump, reporting only positive things about Donald Trump, the term newspaper is a misnomer because that isn't news. That's simply
I
propaganda.
was gonna say, who's left? Like
Propaganda.
the Washington Times or something after that?
Well, the Times are a far right rag, and the New
You
York
literally
Times
have to get
supposedly,
out and get on somebody's website and the Hill or something. I don't even know if they're. I don't know.
because the thing about it now with the media, it's coming down. Before all this took a shit, the far left media was small. The
Right.
right dominated all, because as one person put it, it hit on people who had grievance. Well, you guys won now. And now you're seeing all your little things come to pass, and everyone's going, no, that's not what we signed up for. Hence, you're seeing the far left media, I shouldn't even say left media just actually investigating stuff, come back to fruition. Um, Joy Reid has a new show that's going to be on Substack. She's back, and that's going to go big. They don't know what they're getting into. Fox is supposed to do some kind of streaming for their news, not here on the internet. They backed out a lot of it because they don't think they can compete. They won't be able to compete. Not here. People don't want
I
to
think
hear the same shit that they're seeing on TV.
I think when you're talking
Right.
about mainstream media, I think there's a lot of people who want to continue watching mainstream media. But let's be honest, mainstream media is done, whether it be MSNBC or CNN or Fox News. The newspapers don't tell us the facts. The place they're going to have to come for news, people, if they really want information, is right here on the internet, whether it be YouTube or whether it be TikTok or whether it be Substack or something like that. They're going to have to go to independent people. And I think you're going to see more independent people as they become successful with it. People like Jim Acosta, Joy Reid,
Mhm.
Don Lemon. They're doing pretty well out here. I don't know if they're making the kind of money they made while they were on TV, but they've got nobody telling them what to do, and they can say what they actually think. Even if you have the most credible person on mainstream media, they're being controlled by somebody. So really the only place to come
Exactly.
is independent media, Aaron Parnas, Don Lemon, this show, whatever. This is where you're going to get the information. And while it's going to hurt the mainstream media, it's going to help us.
And also the AP was kind of left to right, but the AP is back. The AP has said, fuck it. They're gone total, the whole Gulf of America bullshit. AP said, no, we're not doing it. You can say whatever you want. And they're banned out of the White House. And the White House is controlling the press corps, only who they want to come in to cover everything. It's bad. Literally, the White House in Washington is becoming a world that is destroying everything else because they have the power levers. And that's where we're at. They're doing things that are contrary to American values and the American people as a whole. And they think it's helping. And I still
Would
haven't
you
seen where you're getting the help, where it's making America better like they want to.
would you agree, both of you guys, would you agree that if there is to be anything done in Congress, anything by politicians, it has to be initiated by Republicans at this point? I mean, Democrats can put on pressure. They can embarrass Donald Trump, expose him for who he is. But in terms of making a movement with impeachment, or the 25th Amendment. It's got to be the Republicans, and the Republicans haven't bent yet. It hasn't gone far enough for the Republicans. Do you think we ever see a point where the Republicans say, okay, that's too fucking far. The polls are too far down. We're getting our ass kicked. We got to make a change. You guys see that as a possibility, or is that never going to happen?
I don't know, Matt, what do you think?
I can see have seen a couple of Republicans standing up already. I think mainly in the House, but that's like the first little ripple because they're still feeding off of the high, him spouting off, flooding the zone,
Right.
fucking doing same old bullshit. But the stock market's already flopping, and it's
Right.
flopping harder than it did last time. These tariffs are about to go in. It ain't going to be good.
It's going to get worse after
They can't even go on vacation now because they're getting heckled with signs going skiing and fucking people yelling shit when he's trying to golf. So just, that kind of shit boiling up on top of everything else getting called out. I think it can only last so long before the more center Republicans start speaking up, because like we've all said before, and we all know this, they do have to get reelected. They do have to go back to town halls. They do have to host events. They do got to get votes.
Well, Will, don't you think,
Well,
if people have been waiting for that time to do the right thing, don't you think we're about at that point after the Zelensky thing, after the tariffs go into effect and the stock market flops, after he makes a fool of himself at the State of the Union? Do you think that's why I feel like that may be a turning point where people will go, all right, fucking enough?
I don't know. Martin Tyler Cohen had one of his videos today, and he was showing the Republicans' response to a lot of Zelensky stuff. He showed one state senator was at a town hall meeting. They asked him some question, what are you going to do? He literally got up and walked out.
Yep. I saw that.
His point is that if you think there's a such thing as a moderate Republican, you're fooled. Republicans, it's kind of like they're committed.
No matter
They're
what?
committed. We're committed. No matter what. If we go down with the ship, at least we win. Because they don't want to feel they're wrong. They're so afraid if they shift that they'll get primaried. Hey, dummies, you're about to get your asses kicked in the midterms. People are pissed. Those town halls are a sign for you to make a move, not to run from. But you so deep into this. Trump has this unbelievable grip on them. And I'm not talking about the cultists. They're deep into it. I'm talking about the bloody people who should have common sense are still rolling through. And it affects Democrats too in the Senate because they keep doing stuff for them, like approving nominees.
Yeah.
They are so much in this bubble because they get away from the bubble, they get screamed at. They come back and everything's okay. Don't worry about it. Trump will take care of it. No, don't worry about it. What you saw was a lie. Those people aren't real. See, that's the thing. You're inside the Beltway bubble, and with the media and all that, they don't really adhere to what they're giving for the public. Literally, the economy will probably collapse. Now, if they get away with Medicaid, people are going to be dying, and they'll still be in the Beltway bubble, sitting there going, "Everything's going to be okay. Everything's fine. Trump will fix it." And that's where I'm afraid they are. They are so deep in it, Mike, that they're so afraid now to be different that we all will pay the price. And it goes back to what I said. If we're going to unfuck this, it won't be with politicians in Washington.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I tell you this, if I was a Republican politician right now, I'd read the room a little bit. I'd see things are starting to fall apart. Things are starting to go to shit. And this would be the time I would say, okay, I'm going to try to save myself. I'm going to be the hero and stand up for the people who are yelling at me now and push back. You'd have to risk whatever Donald Trump might do, but Donald Trump's going to be so tied up in everything. This may be a good time to push back. The question is there anybody in the Republican Party that has that decency or integrity? And thus far, we have seen none of those folks.
And I'm about to scare the hell out of everybody right now. And when you get into this situation like this, what is the one thing that always authoritarian governments lean into? They lean into war.
Right.
And they're already making sounds of invading Mexico, doing assault invasion to stop the cartels, crossing the border with military personnel. If that happens, someone's going to get hurt. An American soldier will get killed, and then it's on, and there's a distraction. The economy could collapse. People could be out of work. People could be dying in the streets because they have no hospital. But damn it, we're not going to go in there and teach them Mexicans what's going on. Trust that is a fear I have, and it's starting to ramp up because you get desperate, you go to war because that'll solve your problem, at least your PR for a while.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Well, Matt, I have this question for you. If the politicians won't do it, the Republicans won't do it, is the only answer the people rising up and pushing back, like in these meetings or at vacation stops for J.D. Vance or at the various speeches that Donald Trump does? Is that where it is? Is
That
all
is
we have
exactly
left
where
is
it's
us
going to
screaming?
come from, is we the people. It's going to get louder, I think, as it gets a lot warmer outside. Spring's right on the horizon.
True.
You know, I think that's going to play a big part in it. They can follow where everybody's going to be at. So, you know, you can't go skiing. So go try and do something else. You're just going to follow, you know, people are going to be right there and getting loud. And the more stupid shit they keep trying to pull off, that's going to add to it. I mean, when you ain't got to go to work, what the hell are you going to do? You're going to go get pissed at who just fired you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
I know if I lose my job, I know where I'm going.
Yeah, no shit.
Like,
Well,
here's go ahead. I was going to say a complication on the federal workers, the way they got fired, because they got fired for performance, supposedly, that doesn't qualify them for unemployment.
right, exactly. They're fired for cause, even though there's no legitimate reason to say that. But they did that on
That's how
purpose. So not
Republicans
only
save
do they get
money.
rid of them, yeah, it's how they save money. Now, there was something said yesterday that I don't know that it's going to happen. I don't know if it's used to just scare people or incite people, or maybe it's true. But the former head of Social Security said that with what's going on there and what they're doing, it's conceivable that people could be missing Social Security payments. Now, Social Security's never missed a payment in 80 years. So for that to happen, I got to think this is a moment in time when people, if they miss one payment,
buddy.
they are going to fucking go nuts in this country.
They already hinted they want to fire 1/3, 2/3 of the Social Security workforce. They already closed down the office that handles the Social Security website, so you can't go to that. I could see it because that system is pretty complicated because it's old. I can see it. They'll miss a payment. Someone's going to miss their money. I mean, I just spoke to a guy to someone to get him insured, and he only has disability, and his disability check comes in on the 27th. That man doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a pot to piss in, and he go get a check. He don't eat, and now what? Now what, Elon? I mean, so you got rid of the Ponzi scheme, Elon. Now what? See, that's the thing. Now what? What are you going to do with these people?
You know, the thing about it is his point of being a Ponzi scheme. It isn't a Ponzi scheme, but if he shuts everything down and people don't get their payments, then you are getting the effects of a Ponzi scheme, because we've all participated. We've all put money in, and we're entitled to money back according to the deal that we cut with the government. I really believe that, man, if that happens, there literally will be fighting in the streets, because it's not just the
And
people who get Social Security. It's the kids that have parents that get Social Security, and all of a sudden, their parents are devastated. The people who are on Medicare or Medicaid, it's all the same thing. So it's going to be a little frightening if it gets to that extent. And I have to believe that they're going to be very cautious about missing those payments,
well,
because
maybe
it's going
not.
to fly back in their face.
Maybe not. Maybe they just want to, because I get the impression with Elon Musk that he believes in serfdom.
Yeah,
And you guys know, you know what a serf is. A serf wasn't even, you were a slave to the land owned by the landowner.
right.
That's the poorest. You can't, that's beyond poor. And I think he believes in that, and he's figuring that if he can get these people down that far, they'll capitulate to his rule. And that's what I keep hearing from a lot of people around here, especially on TikTok. They're doing this because we're going to capitulate. They'll get us down so far, we're going to capitulate. We'll quit. We'll do whatever they say. Really?
No,
Americans?
I
hell
think
no,
so.
no.
No, Americans get mad. They get really mad. And they burn shit up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I think. I think they're in the mentality that if we fuck over enough people, they'll just quit and we'll get whatever we want.
Well,
I
I think that's what they
no.
think.
I mean, because
Yeah.
the people, because when, like Matt said a moment ago, if you got nothing else to do and you got nothing to lose, I'm on. Let's do
Let
it.
me ask you guys
Because
something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
Could now guys my age and a little older and stuff, could anybody go to their employer that is not, say, federally regulated, I guess, but could they go to their employer and say, stop paying my federal taxes and just give me a 1099 willingly? And
I
that
don't think
business
so.
just have to be like, okay.
I don't think so. And I think
no,
even if they could, it wouldn't
you
be
have
their
to be
policy.
you have to be a gig employee, and then you got to be on a different pay scale. Also, they have to pay payroll taxes
Yeah.
and to the states too. So they would be in a world of shit, unfortunately. I mean, I see your point.
Damn it.
Where it has to be is, I see where you're going, but actually, what you need is like the governors of Illinois or California and New York, basically saying, okay, you're not giving our federal money you want. We're not giving you federal taxes. We
Right.
will hold your taxes into the states because why would
Watch
pay
it
into
get to
a
that
government that's
point
not doing
when
it?
Canada starts shutting fucking power off to people, and you want avocado with your fucking tacos that's going to cost you $28 for a little bowl of it.
Well,
Yep.
I'm in one of the states in Minnesota. I'm in one of the states in
Okay.
Minnesota that if Canada shuts off the electricity, it's pretty much our whole state. So I could be affected directly. Um, I
But
get
I think
Social
what would
Security now.
happen,
That big premier that's right
I,
above Minnesota was pretty pissed.
Yep.
but I could see, honestly, I could see your governor turning around and going, hey, let's cut a deal. I
Yeah,
could see a
probably.
state do that.
Yeah,
I
cut a
mean,
deal with
especially a blue
Canada.
state like New York. Yeah, cut a deal with Canada. Like one of the
Straight
things
up.
that happened in California when you had the response of Mexico and Canadian forces to the fire in Los Angeles is that
That was
California has
amazing.
a trade agreement. Yeah, they have separate trade agreements with Mexico and Canada,
Right.
and so they could respond. So the point being
Cover the
is
whole
like,
coast like that, and your two countries are right in between you, basically.
right,
Given a couple states, I mean, bam, you're going to be doing a lot of trading. So if you want all that to just fucking stop, to cease, to go away, I mean,
and
woo.
yeah, and the hardest thing right now is that the reason we're going all through this, as Trump has it in his head that trade is a loan.
Yeah, he
that we're
doesn't
giving
understand it.
money to Canada or Mexico for nothing. He doesn't understand how trade works. That you get something for something, and then
No, he
there's
doesn't
deficits. He doesn't get
understand
it all.
any of that.
Deficit doesn't mean we're getting money or we're giving them money. I mean, he told the Europeans in the White House that you have loans to repay back. What fucking loans are you talking about, Johnny? Europe doesn't borrow money from us. They've never borrowed. They haven't borrowed since the fucking end of the World War II. It doesn't work like that. And he thinks trade is some kind of weird ass loan. It's not that. It's not. Trade doesn't work like that.
He keeps
You
trying to
think
come
Doug?
at shit from some business sense, and it doesn't make any fucking sense because it's either outdated and it doesn't fucking run that way anymore, or it's shit that's not ran like a business. It's not ran to make profit.
Well,
That's
he's
what
not a
half
good
of these dumb
businessman,
fucks
and
don't understand. And he's
he's
not
not
good
a
at it to begin with.
no, he's not a good businessman in the first place. And the question I have to you guys is: do you think he's doing this just because he's doubling down and tripling down and he's trying to gaslight people? Or do you think he just doesn't understand it and he doesn't listen to anybody? That could be
What
either one.
aspect?
What's that?
What aspect? What do you mean?
Well, with regards to the tariffs, I mean, everybody with a half a mind knows what tariffs are going to do, but he insists that we're going to make all kinds of money with it. Is he just gaslighting, or just does he not understand it and won't listen to anybody who tries to tell him?
He's gaslighting and he knows his base is dumb enough to eat it up.
No.
Plain and simple. And this
Until
last
they can't feed their
election,
kids.
exactly. And then they might wake up, they might not. But this whole last election was, I'm going to stay out of prison. I'm going to win and buddy up to Putin. And I'm going to find somebody to do all the work so I don't have to. And now he's got all that. And what are we, 6 weeks now? 7 weeks into this shit?
Yeah.
Feels like fucking 8 months.
Yeah, it does.
It's like 8 years.
It ain't getting any easier on any of them. They think it is, but I think the revolt is coming, and it is going to be from the people, and it's going to get loud.
But
very loud.
He has to be right, and I think that's the thing. He wants to be right. He wants to prove everyone that he's the greatest, whatever. I've never met anyone who failed as much as he has and still thinks that he's better than everyone else. Humility or humble, even those people who are really the best have some humility in them, some humble in them, because they know it can go away. And the thing about the rich, the very rich that we see right now, I don't care if you're rich. Personally, I think Amazon's great. I don't have no problem with it. I just got a coffee pot. That's fine. I'm okay with it because it's a marketplace. What I'm not okay with it is you don't treat your workers right. Is you pay them a fair wage. That's so they cooperate and work for you harder. And secondly, why use your money to destroy America when you could get more out of it if you keep paying your taxes and watching us grow? There's no benefit to this for these guys. I don't understand the oligarchy or these rich guys' mental state. You're not helping.
It's the
You're
greed slash
destroying.
narcissism of it all. Once you get a taste of the power from all that corruption and what you can actually achieve with that much money, I mean, it's unreal. The guy that put it in real perspective for me the other day, that if you translated $1 million into time, you would get around 12 days out of $1 million. Okay. But if you transferred $1 billion into time, you would get 32 years.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So,
big difference.
The difference is massive. But
I don't understand the short-sightedness of this. Take Bezos, for example. Bezos basically sells things to the middle class. All right. Maybe the upper middle class. That was
Yes.
probably the base part of his business. If he continues doing what he's doing, trying to drain the middle class, who is he going to sell to then? The wealthy? The wealthy don't shop on Amazon.
He'll already have his money. It ain't gonna matter. He'll just fucking turn the system off and go
Walmart.
float off into his yacht somewhere. It's
Walmart
that
is
simple.
finding that out. Walmart's finding that out. A
finding
lot
it
of
out
people are
big time.
turning from Walmart, and you know, Walmart is trying to figure out, well, what happened. Well, you kind of outpriced people. Two, you kind of pissed them off with that DEI stupidity that you went along with, and now people are just going, they're not going to Walmart. They're actually looking for smaller businesses.
Now they're
Walmart.
going to the mom and pop stores, or they're going to the companies that support the DEI programs. Their
Like
stocks
Costco.
are doing just fine. Costco. Yeah. I saw a list the other day. It was pretty interesting.
So it's the thing about it. There are consequences economically for them. It's just that it's taken a while. It's going to take a while for them to feel the effect. Because, like Matt said, he's got a shitload of money.
It's not
I
instant.
mean,
Yeah, it's gonna take a minute, just like anything else.
It takes a while for that to go. It's just that my biggest fear right now, if there's an economic collapse or an economic recession like we've seen before, there is no government in place that's going to help you.
Right.
And when you have the one, you know, even under Republicans and Bush, at least he tried to stop it. Okay. And then Obama had to fix it. And then again with the other Bush, you know, it was fixed. The problem now, and then with Biden, the problem is you have a government that's so incompetent right now. If the economy collapses, they're going to go Hoover on us. And Hoover did nothing. He just let it die because he thought it would fix itself. And that's the idea with these guys right now. They will do nothing to fix it. They will let it die thinking it would fix itself. So you go from a recession into a depression. And you get into depression, then all bets are off. What the hell is going to happen in the society itself? You know, well, it's on. And that's the I'm afraid of. It's just not they're pushing for some great society that doesn't exist, and that is basically going to push us over a cliff into an economic situation we haven't seen since the 30s, maybe even worse. And that's scary when you do the math.
Now,
So
let me ask you guys a question. Did you see they show both guys on vacation? Did you see Trump getting out of that golf cart when they were
No.
he ain't
filming
looking
golf?
good.
For a guy that doesn't
He ain't
drink
looking
when
good.
he's golfing or at all, holy shit. He is weebling and wobbling all over the place. Now, that's the real danger, because if he's out of the way and Vance gets to move up, then it's game on like Donkey Kong, and we're not gonna know. I can't even imagine. But
I don't know if it's
Rats
worse with
fighting each
JD
other.
Vance. I don't know if it's worse with JD Vance. I mean, JD Vance is a piece of shit and he's stupid on top of it. But there's one difference between JD Vance and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is uncontrollable. Everybody's terrified of him. JD Vance is the president. Nobody's afraid of that motherfucker. Everybody dislikes that motherfucker. So he might be held under control, especially if the Republicans see everything going to shit. They may be more apt to control him and try to limit what he does. They're not going to do that with Donald Trump because they've proven that they're terrified of Donald Trump.
Right. They already shown they won't and
But,
can't.
I mean, because it may be the only thing that, if he does pass, it's going to be a mess because there's no one charisma like that hold this mess together. Vance doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the power base. Republicans will start grasping at things. Trust me, the governor here in Georgia would love to take a crack at that. If you have people like Rich Scott, who would love to take a crack at it. So it would be chaos. At that
I did
point,
hear that today, though. Somebody did say this is all, it's very, the way it's been fluffed up so fast, and it's all, it's all built on bullshit. This guy since 15 is nothing but a big cloud of everlasting bullshit that we've all been going. But once he does go, it's like the world's largest balloon's gonna pop.
Yeah.
Who's gonna want to attach their name to fucking overthrowing the United States of America? Who would want to fucking do that? Other than somebody that's bought and paid for with no mind left that fucking just chows Big Macs all day.
Yeah.
Could care less.
It's it goes back to what the gentleman who kept complaining, where's Biden and where's Harris. We had a choice on November 5th. We had a choice for moving forward or chaos. Well, y'all chose chaos, and now we're stuck with your choice, and that's a tough pill to swallow right now. I had someone in my live the other day, Venus Rising, who is an olive branch type of person. And she was talking about we need to convince them that they were lied to and all that. But I sat there over the weekend thinking about her words and all that. Same thing with the far left, right? And then I started reading comments I got from my videos and watching other people. And I've come to a conclusion it's simple. I want nothing to do with you. Don't talk to me, don't speak to me. You made a choice. Same thing with the far left. Don't talk to me, don't speak to me. You know why? Because I don't trust you, because I know you'll stick a knife in my back. It's all of us, Matt, Mike, myself, who are in this middle, who understand the importance of constitutional democracy, are the ones that are going to push this forward. Honestly, we don't need those guys.
No.
Honestly, we don't. We are still a majority. We can push it forward because I don't want them in with me because I don't trust them. And I will never
That's
trust
exactly
them
right.
ever.
That's exactly right. I've heard people say that to me. Well, we got to bring them in. We've got to help them. We've got to teach them. I think we tried to do that. I think we tried to see them do the right thing. And every time they've done the wrong thing, and the point you make is exactly right. We can't trust them. You bring them in and they say, oh, good. And then things get good again. And then they stab you in the back again. We should recognize them as enemies. We should treat them as enemies, not only of this country, but all of us. And it's sad to say it may not be Christian, it may not be sensitive, but I'm not willing to risk anything going forward on people I just don't trust.
And also, someone had a video of a gentleman put up a video about someone who made a comment that in his bio he has the American flag, and the person said, that bothers me. That's a red flag to me because you still believe in America, because I don't believe in America or that or that, And the guy was making a comment about I still believe in America, and I said I'm a proud American. And he sent me a comment and said, well, I don't know if I go that far. And I had a video response, something as simple as this. I'm a proud American. I'm ashamed of what some Americans have done and where we're at right now. But it doesn't mean I'm not proud to be in this country, because it does represent a lot of stuff. It is 250 years of a lot of good with a lot of bad wrapped in. And I refuse to let the right wing and MAGA take away what it is to be a patriot and to be an American. For me not to say I'm a proud American, that means I give up. Fuck that. Fuck that. They took that from us. They took the flag from us. They took our religion. They took the idea of being a proud American from us. They soiled it. Now I want it unsoiled. I want to say that because I've lived in this country. This country's been good to me. I've made my way in this country. And for me not to say I'm a proud American or to reject America because I'm some kind of ideologue who's never really lived and hate everything is wrong too. You're just as bad as MAGA. That's the thing. Those people on that far left fringes are just as bad as MAGA. because you believe in nothing. And if you believe for nothing, what are you going to stand for? I'm going to stand for the Constitution. Matt is, you are, Mike, because it's time to recognize that. This is now our problem. Whether or not how we got here was what we like, no.
Yeah.
Did we do it? No. Do we have to fix it? Well, hell yes. Because the rest of them ain't going to do it. They don't recognize it. And like I said, and this is going to be my theme, we have to unfuck this some way. All of us have to do it.
I
And if
think
you
we got
want
to
to
stop
join us,
worrying about. We got to stop
go ahead.
worrying about how we got here and what we did wrong. We've got what's in front of us. We've got to attack that and try to address it and try to fix it. We can't whine and cry about everything else that's going on. We've got to keep pushing forward and trying to fix it because we can't trust our politicians, unfortunately. A lot was exposed
No,
in
hell
this
no.
situation. It shows us that Republicans are basically Donald Trump cucks and Democrats just weak. Our judicial system is weak. Congress is weak. Everything that we believed in has been proven wrong during Donald Trump's reign here for the last 8 years. So we got to take notice of that. We got to fix it. Not only do we have to get Donald Trump out, unfuck this whole thing, we got to legitimately try to fix everything. Our governmental system, the democracy, I won't even say democracy. Democracy, if it's running properly, is fine. But our Congress and our politicians in Washington, D.C. have been fucked for a long time. It's all now been exposed. So now we got to do something to fix it. I don't know what it is, but we got to do it.
Yeah, and that's what it is. We all have to come up with a strategy. I think, and I think Matt will agree on this, and I think he's going to see it tonight. We're going to see it tonight. We're going to see the ugliest thing we ever saw tonight, or past, because by the time, well, no, this will be up tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow morning.
Right. You're talking about the State of the Union?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about when they see this. It's going to be ugly. No matter what happens, it's going to be ugly. We have to be prepared for it. And it's going to be another watershed moment in the second Trump administration, to the point that if that doesn't shake people, then we know where we're at. Simple as that. Because it doesn't matter what the Democrats could sit there peacefully, and it still would be a shit show. We know this.
Matt, do you think that the impending doom in terms of the shit show and Donald Trump imploding and being unhinged, do you think we're at a stage in this country where it almost has to happen before anything changes?
Oh yeah,
We're too far gone.
We're too far gone. The rug's going to get pulled out, and everything is just going to be. You're going to see all the savings for Doge ain't going to be there. On and so forth. But the State of the Union is just going to be another shit show. You won't have the old bag Pelosi in the background tearing it up when he's done talking. But they're going to have to do something, and I think they will.
All right.
And I don't want to watch it, but I think I'm going to have to at some point. But
no, I won't watch the highlights. I couldn't stomach that.
Maybe Midas will do the
But I
puppies
will.
and dogs again.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have one question. I do want to ask one question. How is JD's eyeliner going to look?
Yeah.
Is it going to be right on point? I mean, is he going to get a little
dark
swoops? Extra dark? Do you think a little swoopy or just a little down? I mean,
little cat's eye.
He's really
little cat's eye thing. I think he'd do well to have some lip liner and maybe just a touch of shading on his cheekbones to, accentuate his higher cheekbone. That fucking.
Oh God, for such a alpha male, that dude could put on makeup. Shit.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask both of you this. This whole shit show that was this press conference. Some people are saying it was a setup, that Donald Trump wanted a reason to pull the funding from Ukraine. Do you think it was a setup, or Donald Trump just lost his shit because he wasn't getting what he wanted? Matt?
I think he was
it's just-
literally getting tired and hangry, because when it went off the rails, they were about 43 minutes into the hour, and then he started the shit went down. But I think it was meant to look more intimidating because you had Rubio and Vance sitting there, and then Trump by himself, and then a room full of fucking rabid dogs ready to get at the raw steak, but
The funny thing is the media is the one that really started the argument, because they said, what kind of security assurances are you going to offer Zelensky? And then Donald Trump couldn't answer that. And then he said, well, what a bomb could fall on here. Let's get the deal done. Then we'll talk about what we've got to do. No, that's not how deals work. Deals, if they're done properly, you get something, you give something. Both sides get and give. And that's not what Donald Trump wanted to do that day. He wanted to get everything he wanted and to give nothing.
But
exactly. And it went on, and it wasn't fast enough, and he lost his shit.
Yeah.
It's just,
and the point was,
and Zelensky wasn't having it. He got the fuck out of there, and went right back to other countries that are actually there to support him. And,
go ahead, Will.
Yeah.
Well, I think, all he had to do to answer the question. No, it's good, man. You're totally correct. Is that when you get that question, what's security? You know what? We're going to discuss that in a few minutes. Because what I want to do right now with President Zelensky, we're going to go over the deal, see what we can do to best help him and help peace come through. That's your answer. That's your answer. And they go, well,
Right.
What do you say? I go, we're going to discuss that in negotiations. That's your answer. That's what a smart person would say. But Trump is not smart. He's not. He doesn't know how to deflect stuff like that. Because that's designed to get an answer on those questions. And you just deflect it nicely. The President Zelensky and I are going to discuss this in detail, and we're going to make sure that we have a deal that works for everyone. Hi, it's totally generic and doesn't give you anything. And you just smile at the man. Now, behind closed doors, you're going to say, you give me what I want or you're fucked. That's fine. And that's why the whole thing was a setup, because they wanted something for him to look stupid, but they didn't. And Trump looks stupid, and he's doing this out of pettiness. And whatever. I mean, they were going to do it eventually anyway. Let's be honest. They didn't need the press conference to do it.
No,
right. It was going to happen sooner or later, whether cameras were there or not.
Yeah, it would be. But I think Donald Trump wanted cameras there to make him look tough.
Yeah.
And Elon wasn't there. He wanted to show he's in control. But Donald Trump is like a child. He wants immediate gratification. And they gave it away. Some of the Republicans gave it away. All he was going to do is come there and sign the paper and go away. It was going to be cool. It was going to be a big win for everybody. His answer to protection of Ukraine is that, well, we will have our people mining this stuff there, so that will keep Russia out. Please, motherfucker, don't tell me just to come sign some deal and don't offer me anything. Zelensky's not stupid, and this is what bothers Donald Trump. He's used to rolling over the top of people, and Zelensky's not going to let him do it. So now he's pouting. Now he's crying. Now he's going to get tough and yell and scream and try to intimidate him. Problem is he can't intimidate Zelensky. Zelensky said, "Fuck you."
And the hardest thing right now to be, when you're president of the United States, you have so many things going on. That's why your normal morning briefing is huge. But Trump is not that type of person. He cannot multitask. He cannot see everything going on. He can't deal with like what's going on in South Carolina. Can't deal with the economy. Can't deal with that. Can't deal with that. He can't do it because he's so focused on little things, weird things. And this whole signing the executive order, which is now the official language of the United States. Okay. There's rumors he's going to sign an executive order pardoning Pete Rose, so he make the baseball, put him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. I'm like, these are See, this
Is that
this
real?
the
I heard
stuff
that earlier. That's fucking
Yeah,
real.
that's
that's for
real.
real, bro.
Oh my
That's
god.
real. I mean,
Oh my
you
god.
know, like
He thinks he
it's
controls
like,
Major League Baseball. He thinks he controls
yeah,
Major
and
League
The
Baseball.
man is dead. Isn't he gone?
yeah, he's
He's dead.
gone, but they want to do it posthumously. It's just insane. And then to top it all off, I mean, you want to go on another diversion, you know, the Eagles won the Super Bowl, told them, no, we're not going to the White House. Fuck you. Trump said, no, they agreed to it. Well, the Eagles going, no, we didn't. No, you did. No, we didn't.
I hope that's
I mean,
true.
just
I hope
stuff
they're
like
not
this.
going.
They're not
No, they're not
going.
going. Oh,
He's
no,
trying to make it sound like he doesn't
yeah,
want them now. That's what he's trying to
yeah.
do. He's trying to say,
No,
I don't want
they
them to
didn't
come
want to go
anyway.
before. They don't want to go now.
Nice.
I mean, the problem we have right now is we have a president who's literally, if not in dementia, on the steps of dementia. Health wise, what is he, 78,
Yeah.
78, 79?
He's going to be 79 in June, I think.
June. Yeah.
Yeah, 79 in June. And God Almighty, I mean,
Fucker.
his genes must be great because he should. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, he's slowly declining, and each thing that comes out of his mouth, the problem is he's the president of the United States, and that's not good.
What's going to be interesting is tonight he's doing the State of the Union. Well, let's take a look at the State of the Union. Mm-hmm. The inflation's going up, GDP's going down, prices are going up, the stock market is tanking. Yet he's going to stand up there somehow and say, "It's great, you're welcome." That's what he's going to do, and the vast majority of people won't believe it.
The migrant crime, you know, the illegals are getting removed. All those criminals. I mean,
how
that's
many
what he's
minutes in
on
before he blames Biden for something?
30 seconds. Here's an interesting stat that you may not have heard. Here's an interesting stat. Did you know that they fired more people than they deported? You fucking believe that?
No.
They fired more people than they deported. It's a fact. And they've deported far less than Joe Biden did in the same period of time.
Well, the last Homan interview I saw, he was fucking hot and bothered, and he wasn't happy.
No,
bubbly piece of shit.
I explained Tom Homan. This guy is adult. I mean, he's not very articulate. He looks like a combination of Fred Flintstone, Porky Pig, and Droopy Dog. If they all had sex and had a baby, it would look like Tom Homan, that stupid piece of shit.
Oh,
he's going to fuck up so badly and be embarrassment to Donald Trump.
And then he threatened the city of Boston. Oh my God.
It's going to be hilarious. Go into Boston. I dare you, motherfucker.
That's the last city I'd fuck around with.
I saw a policy to a guy who was in outside of Boston. That dude was hardcore Massachusetts Irish. He was hardcore. And I'm thinking in my mind, you really don't want to fuck with those people. Oh, Lord, no. Oh,
speaking of Boston, and I didn't see that reaction on his social media, but that Barstool Dave Portnoy started calling out some shit. He made a big post about, let's be fair, how come every time Epstein file gets brought up, it's a shit show? How come you haven't deported damn near anybody? How come you haven't, like, he called out like 6 things on Trump.
And he's been kind of a Trump. He's been
a right winger. Yeah, he pushes the shit sometimes. I think he's just an asshole, but
yeah, I'm not a fan of him or Joe Rogan or any of these fucking clowns.
Well, someone made a good comment, is that the reason those guys became so popular because contrarian. They could be all down to contrarian. The problem now is that everything they were contrarian to is now a reality, so they have nothing to talk about. So now, like Matt said, he has to be contrarian again, because that's all they got. They gotta complain about stuff even worse, and that's why they're floundering, because they have nothing to talk about. Unless they want to go to the lizard people, that's up to them. But that's what we're seeing right now. That's why people who are like modest and all that are getting bigger. It's as people are seeing and go, no, that's contrarian. People are seeing it now as what's contrary to truth, and it's sad that that's where we got, because Rogan and all those people are one of the reasons why we're here. And it also, we can go start talking about Rush Limbaugh, but I don't want to bring him up because he may come back from the dead, and that'll be bad for all
And I'm
of us.
glad he's dead. I'm glad he's dead. I just read
Yes.
something. I just read something here that said, I can't find it again, so I'm not going to say it's absolutely true, but it wouldn't surprise me that there's a letter going out to the CIA to offer everybody buyouts in the whole fucking CIA. Can you imagine if they'd pulled that off?
There's one letter, because now instead of doing the individual letters, there's one letter that they're sending out offering all federal employees a buyout or the 5 thing. That's insane. But what do you know? I mean, these guys are out of their minds. They have no idea what they're doing. They think they're doing something. Agents, I mean, I don't know what the intelligence organizations are going to do. If they cut our intelligence organizations, we're screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, they really don't know how government works. Hell, Pete Heskett don't even know how the military works.
Yeah.
Well, I actually heard Kash Patel told his people to ignore the Musk order to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So did Pete Hegseth. So did Pete
Mhm.
Hegseth, but now Pete Hegseth, as his second email, said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." Here's my retort to them, saying, "Okay, all you people that work for us, give us the 5 things you did last week." Well, Donald Trump and JD Vance work for us. I'd like to see them make a list of the 5 things they've done last week that helped this country, because there is nothing Donald Trump has done in this country has been anything more than destructive. That's all he's done.
That's the thing. Why do they think what they're doing now is helping America? I mean, they're so. I mean, I don't get it. It's not helping. It's
well, they don't care to help America. They're only helping themselves.
But even, yeah, I guess I'm talking about like the Project 2025 people. The people are not really the rich of the rich. What are they getting out of it? They think there's going to be a Christian, after all this falls apart, we're going to become a Christian fascist government? Is that what they think is going to happen?
I think the
they're going
opposite
to
will
install
happen.
some kind of holy leader? No. I mean, unless they're going to go all the way like a Handmaid's Tale, which in order to do that, they literally had to assassinate Congress in that book. Yeah, read the book, y'all. They're not kidding. They literally eliminated Congress and then established their draconian Christian fascist government. Unless they're going there, we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. I'm at a loss because there is no plan. It's just actions. It's just actions. And the thing about it is, Elon Musk wants this country for some reasons I don't get. He bought it, but I got a feeling he's going to want the receipt and to take it back.
Because it's going to hurt him in the long run.
And a lot of people, the reason you see the town halls, it's not just Trump. I think they could have lived with Trump. They could have made excuses for Trump. They kind of make excuses for Elon Musk, and he pisses them off. That's it. They piss him off because Elon's doing it. It's not Trump firing these people. I feel the Republicans say, okay, the president did it. That's okay. But you set Elon to do it. And they go, who the fuck are you? And that's what it's going. It's still
that's why all these red town halls are pissed. Not one motherfucker in this country voted for Musk. Nobody. So
but Donald Trump
had him in there and he's prancing around the White House and executive order, it took about 3 days, and then he did the Doge thing and everybody was just kind of like riding with it, just kind of cruising along. But now
Donald Trump
fucking
Donald Trump
firings
has
and people losing their jobs and all the negative shit. And getting exposed with all the kids and mistresses and shit. It's all falling apart. It's just
Well,
taking
Donald
it.
Trump has lost any reasonable deniability, though, because he might say that Elon is doing it, but he also said, why don't you ramp it up? Why don't you get more aggressive? So we know where the direction is coming from. Donald
Yeah.
Trump may not know what he's doing, but Donald Trump is part of the reason why it's happening so egregiously.
And who's not to say Putin didn't
Yeah.
tell him to say that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just
It-
he's putting in a correctocracy, but the guy heading our side of it is a fucking moron that doesn't know anything.
Absolutely. Well, I'm
Well,
going to
well,
wrap up the Rational Boomer podcast. I want to thank Matt for joining us. Thank you, from Ohio, a younger
Nice to meet
perspective.
you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure. Will, nice meeting you. Thanks again, Mike. Try and hold things down here in Ohio. And
Well, I appreciate it.
Slava
You
Ukraine.
know, I'm
Love you,
more concerned about the younger folks than I am myself, because my life is kind of set. Young people are trying to build something. I have kids, I have grandkids, so it pisses me off. Will, thank you for coming on and joining us. It's always good to hear
Appreciate
from you. People like to hear your point of
Mhm.
view. Those of you listening, thank you for taking the time to do that. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about what happened today, because it's going to be a shit show. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Drink tequila. Tequila.